Welcome to Make Your Move Mondays with Jared Richardson and Elizabeth Henson.
We are excited for our very first episode of our podcast.
We are. This is it. We're doing it. We've talked about it.
We've made it to the big time.
We've made it to the big time. This is episode number 1.
So what is first on your agenda today, Jared, to talk about?
Well, I just want to welcome everybody here to Make Your Move Mondays. You know, kind of our idea here. We're going to take and talk about properties, rural real estate, the ins, the outs. Give tips and tricks on property ownership, home ownership. So really, it's kind of a broad array of things that we're going to look at talking about. In what our goal, we're going to do it every other Monday. I think when we're wanting to do it.
So Jared, starting off, tell me about some of your credentials and how long you've been in the real estate world.
Well, me personally, I always kid with everyone. I tell them, I say, hey, I've been in the real estate business for 48 years. Of course, my father, he's still active in the real estate, and he's been doing it 50 years. So I've certainly grew up in the business, but I've actually been a licensed real estate broker and been active in the real estate since 1996 is when I got my license. And so it's just a day or two. And my auction, I'm also an auctioneer, so we do auctions, personal property, real estate auctions. And I think I've had my license, I think it was 2008. I may have to check that and see is when I become an auctioneer. Of course, we've had an auction firm for 30 years, but, our principal auctioneer was David Keaton. And, of course, we have Eddie Holt works with us. He's an auctioneer. But me personally, they've had their license a lot longer than I have. So I kind of trained under those guys. And we've got a long history in the real estate business, seen a lot of stuff happen. I've been a part of a lot of good stuff and certainly interesting business. So what about you, Elizabeth? What brought you into real estate?
So I've been in the real estate world about a year and a half now. I enjoy it. I love seeing and meeting many different people in many different places. I do mostly residential and land, I would say, but I even dabbled in a little bit of commercial this year, which was an interesting experience for a first-year agent.
Commercial can be interesting. I know personally I've sold a couple of commercial tracts, and it's a different animal. It really can be, especially other than residential, or like I say, I sell a lot of land, raw land, so, like I say, it can just be a completely different animal. That's certain for sure.
Okay, so episode number 1, one of the first things that we had talked about going over would be winterizing your home. A lot of people forget tips and tricks and things that need to be done before cold weather hits.
And this is the time of year, our first episode's going to hit, and here we are, be January the 1st. So at least in the part of Tennessee we're in, this is when the cold weather is really going to start hitting, whether it be snow or just freezing temperatures. So it's certainly something that you need to take in consideration for winterizing your home, making sure everything is where it needs to be, because one frozen pipe can cost you a whole lot of money.
Which reminds me of a story. Last year I had a home under contract when that real cold weather hit, when it was 3 and 4 degrees a lot of days, and sometimes 7 degrees.
Christmas, wasn't it? Yeah.
Right around Christmas. I had a home under contract that was scheduled to close the next week. And the water was not left dripping inside the home, and every pipe burst.
It'll do it. Actually, the same time period, I went to Jackson, Tennessee. We had to run up there real quick, get a last-minute gift, or just literally run straight there and back. And it's about an hour and 10 minutes from here to there. And so we wasn't gone over 3 hours, okay? I forgot I didn't cut it off. I left the water running, but somebody in the house cut the water off. So the time we left, went to Jackson and come back, my water had frozen in my house. Fortunately, I was able to figure out where and get a heater on it and avoid any broken pipes or anything like that. But the point of that story being, it can happen real quick.
Yeah. So we just have some quick tips for winterizing your home, things to not forget about. And the first one I have is to inspect your roof and clean out your gutters. Number 2 would be to check out snow and ice removal supplies. So if you know it's going to get cold, take a trip to the hardware store, get you some salt just to prepare for that. check your dryer vents to prevent fires, and have your fireplace and chimney checked. I know a lot of people around here have fireplaces, wood burning stoves in their house.
And that's very good to have that checked, because a lot of times when if you have a flue and you have a lining inside, a clay lining, and sometimes that can bust. And if you're not careful, if it has a wide enough crack and you've built a fire, well, that allows a place for debris to build up, to catch on fire, creosote to build up and to start burning, or to get embers inside, places they shouldn't be. So that's very important to have your chimney checked. I know my daughters just have hers checked out before they started using it. So it's very good to know to hire a professional that does that for a living.
Another thing that we forget about sometimes, I've noticed it at my house, at the bottom of our doors and windows, you have to be careful for a breeze sometimes. So we sometimes wrap up towels if we don't have something heavier to prevent air and
Yes.
breeze from coming in.
Hey, I remember my grandparents always doing that. They would always take and put a towel or put something there, and it can really make a big difference.
A lot of times I think people forget too about their outside faucets, even if they're not running. Sometimes it's best just to go ahead and get those covered.
It really is. And well, actually, my problem that I had was an outside faucet. It wasn't the one that goes in the side of your house, but it was the frost free. And what it done, it was so cold that it actually froze down that pipe and froze my water because that pipe got so cold. But anyway, that's kind of.
So lots of neat things to remember with cold weather coming. We haven't hit it just yet, I don't think, but I think it's coming.
It is. It's coming. So you want to make sure, like sometimes if you have an exposed water pipe or a water pipe that comes up out of the ground and goes into your house, your mobile home, whatever it may be. I personally have some mobile homes that I use heat tape on, and that way it'll stay good and warm. Even with the insulation, it can freeze. So that's something that you want to consider too, putting heat tape on it. If you're going to be gone for a long time, let's say you're going to have to be gone for 2 or 3 days, it's always good to cut the water off. To cut your water off, that is, and make sure, because if a pipe busts in the house and no one's home and it stays on for 2 or 3 days, it can certainly create a mess. And let's see, you can put space heaters in your well. Of course, you need a heat lamp. Most people use heat lamps, but you need to check them, make sure the lights are on, because sometimes those heat lamps, at least a little vibration can bust them. They'll shoot. So there's a lot of different tricks and tips that you can do to make sure that your pipes don't freeze and different things. My favorite is just leave the water running just a little bit.
Yeah, just a drip.
Mm-hmm. As long as that water's moving, should be all right. It's always aggravating whenever your water freezes and you can't take a shower, because once them water lines freeze, there's nothing you can do about it until they thaw out. And so, something, I know you have a lot of livestock, you have a lot of horses, cattle. So what can you do at your barns? And because if you have a barn and you have water at the barn and you have animals, you need to take care of those in the cold weather too. So what are some things that people can do to help their horses or livestock?
So a little bit about livestock, specifically horses. One thing that we do is blanket our horses in the winter. When it's real cold like this, just mainly at night, sometimes it drops to real low temperatures, and we try to keep them in the barn out of the wind and stuff at night. We put them up every night. Mainly for cattle, you just want to make sure that they have a good windbreak. So if it comes a real good snowstorm or wind, you want to make sure that they've got a windbreak, whether that be a line of trees or the side shed or anything like that. That's always helpful. I always try to remember, we water our horses at night in their stalls. I always try to remember to drain the water hose, because sometimes we've had a lot of busted water hose over the past few winters because we forget to drain the water hoses.
Well, that makes sense, because I've done that. I've left the thing on the water hose, and you go out there the next day, and the whole thing's froze, and it breaks and cracks and everything else. Talking about the farm and different things you do for your livestock, if you had an ag card, that expired December 31st. So you need to make sure that you've had all that renewed. And I know that I got mine renewed this year again. So don't forget about that. here we are. We're in 2024. We're getting in the real estate market. Of course, this time of year, depending on weather, will kind of dictate on how busy we are. If we had a lot of rain, a lot of cold weather, it'll typically slow things down. But if it's pretty weather, it will stay just as busy when it's 20 degrees as if it's 90 degrees. So you need to be prepared to, if you have your house on the market, people are still looking no matter what time of year it is. And of course, our 2024 market is looking up. I mean, we've had a great 2023, really for the rural area like we are. We still have a lot of people moving here because with the availability of the high-speed internet in our county, which has been a huge game changer for us, because over the years, you just would be amazed at how many sales that I've lost because there was not high-speed internet that was available. And of course, our area here, we have a couple different providers now, and like I say, it's just made a huge difference because so many people have started working from home.
Yes.
Now you can move out of the cities and you can come to this area and have good internet to be able to work and to do your meetings, and so it's just worked really well and benefited this area like we are.
People love the small town feel that we have here, and in surrounding counties too. But Perry County is just a special place to be, and people are seeing that.
No, it is, and of course, we work Perry, Lewis, Decatur counties. Well, I mean, we've sold property all over the state of Tennessee, and we can sell anywhere in the state as far as that goes. So we're not just limited to Perry County, but it is kind of our home base and where we live at. So it's certainly a beautiful area, and just this whole Middle Tennessee region, this area here with the hills. Of course, a lot of folks call us mountains, and of course, we're not mountain. We're just hills to us. So we're a hilly topography. We have a lot of forest land. We have a lot of water. We have the Tennessee River, the Buffalo River. You have the Duck River, runs through Hickman County, and
so many creeks.
So many different creeks. And it's just a beautiful area to be, and so many people are starting to see that now, and with the availability to work from home and to work and live here has just really opened the doors up for people. And we've been able to meet a lot of fantastic people in this business the last few years. Of course, here again, this time of year, we were talking about the weather, how it kind of can affect the market and what's going on. But really, overall, I think across the state, our inventory is still low. And of course, when you have your low inventory, that allows prices to remain stable or to continue to rise. Of course, historically, real estate goes up every year, and especially when you get into a shortage like we've been in, and we still have low inventory right now. So that means higher prices for your sellers.
Okay, so let me ask you a question, Jared. A lot of times we hear, I'm going to wait till the market crashes, or I'm going to wait till prices go back down. I'm going to wait till interest rates are really low. What is your advice for somebody waiting on the perfect time to buy or sell?
Well, is there ever really a perfect time? Because sometimes you find yourself in a situation that you have to sell or that you need to sell. And so, as far as when's the perfect time to buy a home? Well, whenever you can afford the home, and I don't mean that as a slur in any way, but you need to take a look at your finances because you want to own your home and not your home own you.
Right.
And so there's a lot of, you can talk with your lenders and different things on what your down payment needs to be, how much taxes, insurance, and things like that are. But as far as waiting until the market crashes or interest rates go down, well, the interest rates have went down some, and then they expect them to go down some more this year, hopefully. But waiting on the market to crash, well, you're going to be waiting a while.
And you may just miss out on your perfect home, too.
You may miss out on it because everybody, now I'm speaking from personal experience because I was in the real estate business full time in 2007, 8, and 9 whenever the market crashed. And the setup and scenario that we have now is absolutely nothing like it then because you had so much subprime lending, people borrowing 110, 15% when they're buying a house. I would go to closings and people would get the buyers would get as big or bigger checks than the sellers at times. And so, it's not the same scenario, same setup. Now, will the market slow down? Will it have a little bump in the road? Well, yes, it always does. It always will. Um, but like I say, it's not something that you just want to sit back and wait. Because if you find the house that you want, go ahead and buy it. If the interest rates drop back down to 3 and 4%, refinance it. It's just as simple as that.
I like that advice, especially as somebody that's young. We have our own home now, and young people sometimes tend to hesitate. But I think if you invest in a nice property that you like when you're a little bit younger, sometimes it pays off in the end to be able to be where you want to be.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And like I say, don't be afraid to purchase a home because the interest rates are 7%, 8%. Um, my first home loan was almost 8%. But going back to my father, he's been active in real estate 50 years. He was paying 18 and 19% on loans back in the
Wow.
80s. So if you could imagine borrowing money at almost 20%, and man, that just seems
That's crazy.
that's crazy. It's unreal to us because we've been so spoiled for the last few years or last several years on the low interest rates.
So really, compared to that, we have low interest rates right now.
We do. I mean, 7 or 8% is still cheap on your money. I mean, 6 or 7%, I think, allows you for a good, healthy real estate, and that's okay. Uh, I think this morning on the radio we mentioned that I had a gentleman tell me that they were going to get 11%, but it was a different. I think it was on a tract of land, and of course, really, some of your interest rates are based on your credit rating as well.
Right.
In conclusion to your question, the right time to move is now. If you're looking to make your move, don't wait. If you can find the house that you want, you can always refinance later. And don't wait for it because you'll miss out on more than you realize.
Right.
And so definitely don't wait around for things don't wait around for the market to collapse again because I personally don't think it's going to. The real estate market's not going to. Um, you know, and my theory has always been, even if it does, we're all in it together.
Right.
So we'll get through it one way or the other.
So a neat thing that I think is important for us to mention is that we're here in Perry County and we're local. We know the market. We know the trends and the downfalls and the ups of the market that goes on here in Perry County and Lewis, Decatur, Humphreys, all the surrounding counties. I think it's important for people to know that we're here and know how good of a job that we do for our clients.
No, that's absolutely right. We are local. We know the area. We know the people. We know, um, uh, like I say, the nuances of the business. And here again, don't limit it. Just think, well, you're from Linden, you can't sell it because, I mean, here again, I've sold property all the way in Mount Juliet on the other side of Nashville, went to Cookeville, sold property on a 1,000-acre tract. So, I mean, we can definitely get out there and reach a lot of people. And here again, like I say, our base is in Linden, but we certainly reach out. We have a whole lot wider footprint than that.
And I think sometimes people think small town real estate office that we don't handle big properties, and that's just not the case at all.
Well, that's true. That's a very good point, Elizabeth. A lot of times people think, well, you're in Linden, you're just a little office, and they don't realize that we sell property. Yes, I've sold I've sold some lots for $1,000, but I've also sold multi-million-dollar properties.
We put just as much work into either one.
And we'll put just as much work into them. That's right. And so here again, we have the abilities to handle whatever size sale it is, and certainly would love to talk with people and look at property and be out on it and give you your ideas. And that's what we do. I mean, that's the way we make our living. We're in this every day. We're in the trenches. We're not part time. Just where we're in and out of the market when it's good and not in it when it's bad. We're here every day for you.
And we're people, so we like people stop in our office. We've got a warm body in our office all the time. You can always get an answer on the phone. So stop by and see us sometime
Yeah,
if you have
absolutely.
any real estate needs.
That's right.
Anything else, Jared?
No, ma'am. I guess that's it. That's all I can think of today.
If you need anything else, give us a call at 931-589-2455. We're here for you.
Check out our website at richardsonresales.com.
That's it for Make Your Move Monday.
See you next time.